Anxiety shows up so many different ways in our life, but for the sake of this video, I'm going to talk about how it shows up in our life with loss and rejection. So, anxiety, everybody has anxiety. Like every single one of us have anxiety. And anxiety shows up in our lives, in different ways, but a lot of the work that I've done in terms of helping people tremendously minimize their anxiety comes from a space of loss and rejection. So I'm going to touch on each one individually. So let's start with rejection. Rejection shows up in every single one of our lives. Every single person has experienced some form of rejection in their life. Whether you are living in a household with people who don't see you, don't recognize you, don't treat you well, maybe you're not favored, maybe you can feel that you're not favored. It can come from high school, it can come from elementary school, it can come from bullying. Rejection shows up in so many different forms in our life. And when you experience the feeling of rejection, there is a feeling of lack in your life. You feel less than, you feel devalued, you feel not wanted, you feel like you can be, you can be replaced. That's the feeling that some people get when they experience rejection. And it's a horrible feeling. Nobody wants to feel rejected. How it can show up in your life is because, how anxiety shows up in your life and how it connects to rejection is that when we are experiencing rejection, there's this feeling of lack, like I said, and that rejected feeling makes you protect yourself. It makes you close in some people, right? You either become completely closed out from people or you become a people pleaser. People who isolate and decide that hurt and they don't want to do that anymore, that's not a good thing too, because sometimes anxiety gets worse and worse and worse. And the more you isolate, the more your anxiety starts to close in on you. You know what I mean? Like some people will say, oh, I struggle getting out the house sometime. But then the more you isolate and the more you don't deal with those feelings, the more the anxiety becomes bigger than you. And when the anxiety becomes bigger than you, then it closes in on your life. And when it closes in on your life, you start feeling the way about going to the supermarket, feeling the way about going out with people. It really starts to take over your life. Some people go the opposite route and they people please. I was a huge people pleaser. And when you people please, it's because you have been given the psychological message that you have to do certain things to be accepted. You have to do certain things for people to love you or for people to choose you or for people to accept you. And when you learn how to do that, you learn that that's how life has to be for you. And people pleasing shows up in every aspect of your life. And it's unpleasant because you're filling voids for everyone else, but you're empty. And it's a temporary gratification because you feel the love from people. But again, people love you and people are connected to you based on their needs, right? That's a real thing. That's every single person, and that's not a bad thing, but that's just reality. That's human nature. People connect to other people and they network and they love and they all of those things based like on their needs, right? Like we choose people who are going to be beneficial. We choose jobs that are going to be beneficial. We choose everything that's going to be beneficial to us because that's what we're supposed to do. But when you people please, it takes away from, not really take away, it adds to the void that you're already feeling. A lot of the time when we're little and we experience trauma, our bodies learn how to protect ourselves, how to guard our feelings, how to guard ourselves. So we keep going in life because sometimes you're not even old enough to know how to process those feelings. But anxiety shows up later. It shows up in your life, and some people can't even talk about certain things without crying. I've had so many cases where they've improved tremendously because recognizing the distinction between their anxiety and their trauma. Also, too, keep in mind that people who have anxiety, sometimes it can show up snippy. Sometimes anxiety can show up snappy, snippy, and kind of nasty. But keep in mind that when you're looking through the lens of trauma, that's how you'll see it. Try to look through a lens of healing and understand that the anxiety is showing up because there's some type of fear there. There's some type of void there. There's some type of, there's a need there. And so it's trying to avoid seeing the aggravated person, and just looking deeper into what exactly is happening in their life. When you deal with a lot of trauma and you deal with a lot of bullying and you deal with a lot of those things, anxiety feels horrible. It can feel like your world is coming apart because it's fear. It's fear of the unknown. It's fear of what's going to be happening. And when you're little and or younger, and you experience those things, it sends the message to you that you should be worried all the time. It sends a message to you that you don't know what's coming your way. And so your body is responding based on how it's used to responding. It's trying to protect you from whatever it is you're experiencing in that moment. So the next time you're experiencing anxiety and it's like overpowering you, think about a little bit of these things. It definitely is linked to something. It is. It's linked to some type of lack, some type of feeling of, at some point in your life you didn't feel good. And, you may have experienced a lot of trauma, a lot of furniture moving, a lot of arguments, a lot of fighting around you. That can definitely give you anxiety, but knowing where it's coming from is what will definitely help you.